Let's take a look at the 7 e-commerce businesses for sale by Empire Flippers in this email that they sent to me yesterday. I haven't taken a look at these businesses, so I don't know what's coming up here as we scroll down, but as I scroll down, I am going to share my own experience-based insight into what I'm thinking about as I'm looking at these business listings, and ultimately whether I personally would be interested in acquiring one of them or not, and the reasons why. And maybe if there's an interesting one, we'll do a deeper dive and look at the listing details if I click into it. So we're skimming down here. No, I guess before I go any further, I will say I'm not personally affiliated with Empire Flippers in any way, but I did acquire a business through them about a year ago, a little over a year ago. It was in August 2024. I'm recording this November 2025. And I will say that they were a professional, or more professional than most brokerage firms that I worked with. So little kind of positive shout out there to Empire Flippers. Let's see what they have in this email. First up, we have an Amazon FBM business making $6,098 per month at a 32x multiple. I'm really not a big fan of Amazon businesses because they are so platform dependent. Like all your traffic comes from Amazon. Your product is often fulfilled by Amazon. This is not an FBA, this is an FBM. So I like that a little bit better, but still 94% of sales coming through Amazon, 6% coming through Shopify. Now, the bull case behind buying these is like, okay, hey, we get a proven product market fit. Let's sell them on another platform where we're not so beholden to Amazon. But that is very, very difficult to do. It sounds good in theory, right? It sounds good when I'm saying it. Yeah, just switch platforms, start running ads, sell them through your own site. But I know a lot of people that have gotten into the Amazon business and a lot of roll-ups that went into acquiring these businesses with that attack plan. Like, hey, we're just going to diversify and get them off Amazon, and found that it is much, much, much more difficult than they expected. So personally, Amazon businesses are not for me. Here we go. A lean, low-maintenance e-commerce business in the apparel and accessories niche launched in July 2021, so 4 years old, making $5,880 per month. The valuation multiple there, not too crazy, but yeah, I don't see the niche as of jewelry as being something that's very robust and something that will persist across all market conditions. Like, yes, it may be working now, but styles, trends, things change. I just am not a big fan of the jewelry space. Another e-commerce business. Well, they're all e-commerce business. I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that. That was the thesis of this email here. So another e-commerce business making $8,600 per month in the hobbies and sports niche, specializes in electrical mobility equipment. It's kind of interesting. So it seems like it's holiday based with revenue spike in November and December. I like this more than any other so far, but I don't really like the spike in these 2 months. And it also has a operations managed in-house from a Los Angeles warehouse. This has a warehouse. It is a low valuation multiple, so that's nice. But still, when you buy this, you've got this warehouse. Physical locations just are really not something that's appealing if I'm going to be acquiring an asset. Let's keep going and see what we got. Next one, making $4,500 per month, a supplements business founded in July 2022. Specializes in male enhancement supplements available in various forms like pills, liquid shots, and gummies. Okay, so first up, when I first was skimming through this here, supplements and making $4,500 a month at a 20x multiple seemed really good. Then I got down here to the kind of market of male enhancements. Personally, not something I'm very interested in. But aside from that, from a practicality perspective of owning the businesses, you are very limited as to the platforms that you can run ads for this business on. So it says low reliance on paid ads, and that's probably because you really can't run paid ads anywhere. It's at least not easily. It's very difficult to run paid ads for male enhancements. Next up, making $6,100 per month in Italian e-commerce business in the apparel and accessories niche. High quality hats with deep roots, originally established in 1947. That is pretty interesting. That's very long history for a business. The business is built on decades of craftsmanship, but still it's been around for like 5 or 6 decades at this point. Why is it only doing $6,000 per month in profit? Valuation multiple is good. One thing to consider here that really stands out as a positive attribute is how old the website and domain is, or potentially positive attribute. We don't know that now, but it could be 30 years old, and that would really be ideal. I like this one a bit, considering everything that we've seen. Next up, ooh, this is interesting. $5,292 per month profit. E-commerce print on demand was established in September 2024, specializing in mountain sports themed smartphone cases with unique designs inspired by major brands in the industry. So the print on demand aspect is kind of why I was like, oh wow, this is really interesting. But it was only established a little over a year ago, so not much more than a year old. It really hasn't shown any proof of longevity. It's interesting. I like this one a fair bit, but I think it's quite susceptible. All of these print-on-demand businesses are really susceptible to competition. So for that reason, I would really like to see the business be a little bit older. All right, we got another e-commerce Amazon business making $6,600 per month. This one looks to be more diversified than the other ones, with 53% coming from FBA, 28% on their Shopify, and 19% in distributor sales in the EU and Japan. Okay, so that's very interesting. A little bit more diversified. I certainly like this one more than any of the other ones. It's in the motorcycles accessories niche. And when was it established? We don't really know. So I kind of like this one here, but we don't know when it was established. If this was 5 years ago or more, it seems a little bit better. But I would really want to know why they haven't grown the Shopify side so much. Or on the flip side, why did Amazon FBA become such a large part of the business? As a buyer, I'd really want to focus on how I could grow that Shopify. All of these listed at less than $300,000. My favorite, the one I'd be most interested in here, is the Italian e-commerce business. On that note, guys, let me know which one of these businesses would you be most interested in. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And if there's anything you feel like I overlooked or left out when I was skimming these businesses, let me know in the comments. That would really help me out. And smash that like button for me if you found this video helpful and insightful so far. Otherwise, stay tuned because we're going to jump into this Italian e-commerce business a little bit more. Let's open this up here in the Empire Flippers website. Okay, we have some more details here. First up, business started December 2020, 4 years and 11 months old. That's quite a bit different from what I was expecting, considering it was established in 1947. So I'd want to know what the difference is here between this 1947 and 2020, and really consider if that 1947 start date is even relevant. It may not be relevant at all. It may be like this is just, respun up in 2020. It's very important to understand and know that. Now, as we get further into it here, we can see the monthly profit and the monthly revenue. The margin, if we work this out on a monthly basis, works out to probably about 40%. We'll just do 6110 divided by 16,846 there. That's 36.3%. So pretty healthy margin. And interestingly, we can see the cost of goods at only 20%. So that means that, to me, they're spending a lot of money somewhere else. And I'm not sure, it's not mathing out because I'm already looking at this total advertising as a cost of sales, right? If you've got 12.5% and 20% at cost of goods, your gross profit into this business is going to be like 66%, but then the profit margin is a fair bit lower. So there's like 30% of the revenue that I'm not seeing quickly and easily accounted for. We know they specialize in high quality hats with deep roots in artisan manufacturing. They've got 2,000 positive customer reviews. The B2C operation is run by a small family team. It requires minimal staffing. Products are currently manufactured in-house. Oh my gosh. Though the sellers have identified and initiated discussions with external suppliers to support a smooth transition for a new owner. The business primarily targets the Italian market through well-diversified customer acquisition strategy, including paid social advertising, paid search, and organic search traffic, with high net margins of 35% and cost of goods at 19% and return on ad spend at 7x, as a highly profitable and efficient operation. Despite operating at a traditional family business pace, the sale includes the full digital infrastructure, e-commerce platforms, social media assets, and email marketing systems. Okay. So the line about the family really opens up Pandora's box into this business, because this, as a buyer, gives you a lot to think about and a lot to consider, and kind of, justifies why they've got this low monthly multiple here at 20x. On an annual basis, this means that they're really asking like 1.75x or 1.66x. Okay. The family dynamic throws in a huge curveball here, because as a buyer, you have to flesh out what the family is doing, right? So there's multiple people involved in it. How much money are they getting paid? That explains the difference between cost of goods and advertising that I was talking about. And are they being paid market rate? Chances are they're not. And then what is the family going to do after you buy the business? Or what are you going to do with the family? And what are they going to do for you? I will tell you that almost never works out optimistically. A lot of people are like, oh, this family that I'm buying will keep running the business and I'll keep paying them and just dealing with the, headache of running the business. But ultimately, that doesn't work out. Traditionally speaking, and the SBA recognizes this, sellers of businesses do not work well with new buyers. And for that reason, the SBA has a rule that the seller can only be involved in the business for up to 1 year, or no more than 1 year. And that's because they recognize problems. So yeah, you would have to, as the buyer, flesh out exactly what this family team does, what they all do, and what it's going to take for you to replace them. And then, are they going to compete with you going forward? Are you going to have some, team in Italy trying to compete with you? That's very important. As a buyer, if I were really interested in this, I would want to line up suppliers before I even go into this transaction. It says they have identified and initiated discussions with external suppliers. How realistic is it for these suppliers to fulfill the products at the same price? That is absolutely crucial. It may not be that difficult. I think that in the clothing and apparel world, it's realistic, that you can find third-party suppliers pretty easily. But then the other thing is order fulfillment. So if you get the manufacturing done through third-party suppliers or manufacturers, who's fulfilling the orders? Where are they going, right? So you've got some operational infrastructure here to sort out, but that said, at this low valuation, I don't think it's unreasonable. If you wanted to acquire an apparel and accessories brand that is established at a low valuation multiple, this one seems pretty reasonable. Like, yes, you have some hoops and hurdles to jump over, but it's not bad. And, that said, I would not recommend this for somebody that just wants to acquire a business as their first online business unless they've got experience in the apparel industry and understand really what it's going to take to get another supplier and the complications that can arise from that, and ultimately set up third-party fulfillment. If you've never acquired an online business before, I would go for something that is more put together and you can kind of get in the driver's seat and feel comfortable with. for the first few months before you make any changes, as opposed to a business like this where you got to jump in and start making changes right off the bat. And at the same time, you're going through some very volatile revenue swings here. All right, that's profit, but it's following the revenue trend. But $45,000 of revenue in December from a low month in September of, wow, $3,000. The graph doesn't even do this justice, right? You hear about the term chart crimes, or at least I hear about that, when I'm following the world of finance. And that's usually when they make something look like kind of just grossly exceeded. They kind of put an emphasis on the returns. In this case, this chart crime here really minimizes the downside from month to month. This is a highly volatile business. I don't think this is bad. Oftentimes I open up these low valuation multiple businesses and I'm like, wow, this thing is awful. I wouldn't want to get involved with this. But at this valuation multiple here, I think that there is something here. So not for me, maybe it's for you. There's definitely a buyer out here. This is definitely the right business for somebody. On that note, guys, if you found this video helpful and insightful, you know the drill. Smash that like button to help me out in the YouTube algorithm. I am calling it a wrap and signing off on that note.